one thing I see artists doing all the time is posting online blindly without a strategy, without a goal in mind, whether that be because, they don't know the first step to take, or because they see on a blog or YouTube video or elsewhere of, this quick hack that will provide them instant growth. So they try it even though it might be off brand. Regardless, I think that first step is the most crucial, which is even before you plan out what you want to achieve with your music and how you're going to achieve it, is to brainstorm and determine the image you want to actually portray. So for those that are either just starting to create their unique artist image, or to those that are wanting to pivot from where they're at because it's not working, what would be some real tangible first steps creatives should do to determine and create their brand image?
Yeah, that's a really good point that you say of starting with kind of the end in mind. And
Mhm.
I would actually take a couple steps before image. I think there's a couple
Sure.
steps that come before image. And that is number one, creating your brand identity. So this is kind of like, what do you want to be known for? Because if we can just define terms real quick, like your
Sure.
brand, everyone has a brand, whether you have a business, whether you have a logo or not. Right. Your friend, like maybe there's people, they have a brand. It's just a brand is just a collection of thoughts and feelings you have about someone or something. And so whether you know it or not, your music already has a brand. It has, people have associations with your music. And so then what we do with imaging is just to be intentional about that, about to intentionally craft an idea and shape what people think and feel about us. So first, I think we need to start with what we want our identity to be. So what do we want to stand for? What do we want to stand against? Who are the ideal people that we want to attract to us? And so like for my brand, for example, my fundamental brand values are truth, hope, and love. And that's kind of what we want to communicate with our music, because it's, a dark world out there,
For sure.
and we want to provide people with, and there's a lot of, deception out there too. So we want to
Yeah.
provide whether it's for the music itself or the lyrics or even beyond that, right? What we're posting on social media, we want to be communicating truth and give people hope and express love through our music. So that's kind of first what you want to figure out what your identity is and what you want to stand for. I'd say craft that first. And then from there, you also need to look at what genre you're creating your music in, and more specifically what like micro genre, right? Because you have your big umbrella genres of like say electronic music or hip hop or country, but these are so large. It's so hard to compete with everyone out there in these large genres, and so
Mhm.
you're basically a small fish in a big pond. And so we want to get to the point where you are a bigger fish in a smaller pond, and you do that by niching down, is what's called in the marketing world. And so I guess in the music world, this would be creating a micro genre, figuring out what your micro genre is. And so for example, I create synthwave music. So that's how I've kind of niched down. There's even smaller genres within that. So you can go there. And so by figuring out what that micro genre is that you fit in, there is now a culture. Usually there's already a culture associated with that. And that's how you can start to attract people. So for example, with the synthwave genre, there's already a huge culture on that built. There's like 80s nostalgia, neon colors, outer space, futurism, all this stuff that I can use as clues as part of my imaging. So now we come to imaging. So your brand imaging, this is what people see. These are the colors you use, your logo, fonts, what you're posting, all that kind of stuff. And so I can now combine my brand identity, what I want to stand for, and put a unique twist on what already exists in the culture with my music. So I can again tap into those that nostalgia with the 80s or the neon colors and everything, but then also put my own unique twist on it. And that's how you start to create an image, which is going to attract people, right? Because people that are fans of synthwave music, they'll see the imaging I'm using and they'll say, hey, that's synthwave, I want to check that out. Versus, right, if I was using if I had an album cover of like me in the back of a pickup truck with a cowboy hat, that would not, synthwave fans would see that and they would not listen to my music. So you
For
want to have
sure.
that, but right, even within there, you don't want to just blend in with everyone else that's doing the same thing. So by knowing what your identity is, that can shape, what you're putting in maybe the captions of your posts, or what specifically you're going to be posting. And so that's how you can be unique and stand out, but also be attracting those fans who are the most likely to enjoy your music. And that's really a key, is not to just promote your music to everyone, because not everyone's going to like your music, right? That's just a reality. That goes for everything, right? Nobody likes
100%.
everything.
Yep.
And so if you want to any product, right, you want to sell something to somebody, right? For example, the health and wellness industry, say you have a weight loss product, is the people that, you know, maybe need to lose weight the most, they might not actually be your best customers because they might not care, right? It's probably the people that are already kind of fit or already at least doing something that are going to be the most likely to want your product. And so it's the same thing with music. You want to attract the people that are already likely to enjoy your music. And so if it are a part of that culture, a part of that micro genre, like similar bands to you. And so that's where doing that research beforehand will really help you know how to create your brand imaging.
100%. You just gave a whole boatload of knowledge there. For those listening, I would honestly go back and listen to that again, because the amount of nails you hit on the head there, I say that phrase a lot, but I really like it. And just to touch on a few things you said there, one near the end there, yeah, your music is not going to be for everyone. I had a business teacher in university that said this, and ever since I've been trying to prove him wrong, and I just can't. And he said that there is not one product in the world in which everyone is within its target market. And I'm thinking, well, what about vaccines, right? With COVID, but no, they're anti-vaxxers, right? Like there's not one product that everyone, you know, is going to want. The same thing is with your music. So it's about, you know, as you said, niching down and finding exactly who your audience is, and kind of touching on that with hashtags. Even when I see on Instagram people posting hashtags of like hashtag singer or hashtag pop, right? Because sure, they fall within that, but again, they're a small fish in a big pond. Whereas if they were to go, you know, hashtag country pop Nashville, whatever, if they're from Nashville, now they're going to be, you know, a bigger pond, a bigger fish in a small pond. So I think that was some really great knowledge there, and I would definitely rewind that if you haven't already. Yeah, that's just brilliant. And so now
if I could just add on to that a little bit more, you're right. I'm hearing like maybe an objection to be, well, I don't want to be so pigeonholed, right? Well, the good news is as you grow, you can start to branch out a little bit, right? You can have different albums or whatever that maybe are tangential to what your micro genre is. So you can expand, but it's best if you really start focused and start on that micro genre early on. And then as you grow and you already have a fan base, then you can start to expand a little bit more.
Hey, if you got value from this video and want to dive deeper into how you can actually turn your listeners or followers into diehard fans willing to buy just about anything you release, then be sure to grab my free fan journey formula in the description below. This will walk you through the 4 elements you need to actually get discovered and then turn those listeners and followers into diehard fans who are willing to buy your music, your merch, or even sign up for your fan club if you have one. And be sure to check out this video up here if you want to learn how to earn a full-time income from your music. As always, keep creating and have a wonderful day.